What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Another episode of Trade Codes. I hope you're enjoying your day so far because I'm enjoying mine. And today I wanted to go ahead and talk about an application that I've used in the past that's kind of helped me with my development journey. So I know I usually talk about Flutter. I know you're probably tired of me talking about Flutter so much. So I want to switch it up and kind of go back to my old roots of what I used to do on some videos where I would kind of talk about different applications that could be just as beneficial for developers. And that application, ladies and gentlemen, is called Waka Time. All right, I know it's a weird name. I know you might think of Waka Flocka Flame if you're in that community, but it's not that at all, right? Waka Time is an online platform that allows you to monitor your progress and stats when it comes to your development journey. You can get stats such as how long you spent coding, files that you actually worked on, the languages that you've been working on the most, projects you've been working on the most, all of those things. Waka Time takes care of all the information for you and brings it back in a format that you can easily talk about, learn, and share with other users, all right? And I'm gonna explain everything that comes with Waka Time today. So let's go ahead and get into it. So like I said, Waka Time is an online platform that allows you to get stats related to the projects that you're working on as far as your development, as far as how long you're working on them, what languages you're using, what projects you're working on the most, etc., etc. And it's pretty easy to set up. So all you have to do is you need to head over to wakatime.com, create a new account, and then you'll get a new API key that you will then use to plug into whatever platform you're using Waka Time for. So for me personally, I use Waka Time for VS Code. So in VS Code, I download the Waka Time extension and then input that API key, and now everything that I do in VS Code for my projects gets monitored in Waka Time. Very convenient, very simple to set up, okay? So the dashboard is probably the biggest component of this entire application. The dashboard provides you with all the information that I spoke of earlier, but with that, it gives you a grid view of all that information, and then you can click on things specifically to get more information on what that is representing. So for example, I can click on my most used languages and then see which files were being used to determine if that was my most used language. So it's very helpful in those regards. So there's an insight section right below the dashboard that does the same thing as the dashboard essentially, but it lets you know your most active day developing, your most used projects. It does it in like a one-line structure, and then you can also share that information easily via Twitter. So you could say my most worked on project for this week was Critic or Square, and then I can share it with my friends on Twitter. Pretty simple, right? The team section allows you to have all this functionality, but you can integrate it with the team. So instead of just watching yourself and learning what you can do as a developer, you can compare your progress to people on your team, all right? So it's pretty cool to know that user X took 10 minutes on this file and user B took 20 minutes on these files. So you can kind of understand some of the pain points and where you're spending too much time in your projects or where you're not spending enough time. The project section allows you to go into each individual project and get better understanding of what you've been working on. Some of my Flutter apps that I work on, I usually go in there to see, all right, did I spend enough time working on this project this week? If so, kudos to me. If not, I know that I need to step it up a little bit. I can also see which files I worked on in each of these projects and get a better understanding of that as well. So I really like the project section because I have so many projects, it's kind of hard to keep up with all of them, but I can actually go into it and determine where I've been working at. The projects are listed based off of whatever projects are in that directory of where you're working. So in VS Code, I have a development folder where I keep all my projects. So Waka automatically knows these are all the projects that he's working on. Underneath the project section is the goals section, all right? And this is pretty new. I haven't used this one specifically, but I think I'll start doing it here shortly. So with goals, you can actually set goals for yourself. So let's say I want to code 1 hour every day. You set that goal, and then Waka Time will automatically keep record of how long you've been progressing towards that goal or if you're not progressing. And then you can even share that information on Twitter or other platforms as well. So it's kind of a way to keep accountability to make sure that you're always progressing to whatever you want to obtain when it comes to your development journey. The Share tab allows you to share your progress to different platforms in a plethora of different ways. So you can normally just share, hey, I've worked on this project for 5 hours, or you can share in the form of a repo badge. You can share it in the form of JSON and an API request. You can even share your information based off of a weekly report that you get to your email, all right? So you can view it on the dashboard, or you can get an email at the beginning of the week or the end of the week, whenever you decide, letting you know, hey, this is what you worked on, right? So it's pretty cool. Leaderboards is a leaderboard essentially, and you can have private and public leaderboards. So if it's public, obviously you can just see everyone and what their progress is, but that's not very helpful in my opinion. But if you create a private leaderboard, you can then see who is progressing the most among your team, right? And I think that's very good for team morale, because now you can see where you line up compared to the other developers that you may be working with. Now, an online application wouldn't be complete if there weren't some type of integration, right? So you can integrate these methods using various different platforms like Google Calendar, Slack, GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket. They all plug in very well, and you can use them even in Zoom. If you want to share your information in a Zoom meeting, you can do that as well. So Waka Time does a good job of making sure that it can capture the essence of all things developer related and allows you an outlet to share this information in various ways. The supported IDEs are endless. Not really endless because there is a finite amount, but there's so many of them that it might as well be endless, right? You have over 50 different applications that you can use with Waka Time. They've got Android Studio, Visual Studio Code, Sublime, PHP Storm, even things like Word or PowerPoint, which I didn't even think was possible, but they have plugins for those as well. So you can always monitor your progress no matter what IDE you're using, which is very good. There's also a Waka Time API, and I haven't used this one myself yet, but I always love a good API. Just something about a good API just does it for me. So you can get that same information that you see in your dashboard in an API request. So now if you want to make a Flutter app, for example, you can then get that information and put it into your Flutter app, and now you can be on the go and just knowing whatever you're working on is now in that app that you worked on, all right? So it might be kind of counterproductive to make an app just for the information, but I'm sure that some developer out there can find a very beneficial use for that. Now I know what you're thinking, pricing, right? It's gotta be free, or is it? So there are 4 different tiers. There's a free tier, a business tier, premium tier, and team tier, and they all have their own perks. So based on what you need it for, you can use the free for a while, but then you may need to upgrade your tier if you want some more perks. For example, off the free tier, you can't see data from farther than 2 weeks ago. So if I want to see my progress as a developer for the month of June, I might need to upgrade. That way I can see everything that I was doing back in June, okay? Right now I'm on the free tier, but if you want to take it a step further, I highly recommend looking into some of the other tiers that they offer. And that right there, in a nutshell, is Waka Time. So I'm pretty sure that this can help out any developer when they're trying to understand their progress or just what they've been spending their time on the most. I read a book by Malcolm Gladwell. If you haven't read it, it's a book called Outliers. He constantly mentions this concept of 10,000 hours to be a professional. So how do you know you got the 10,000 hours? Waka Time. They'll let you know if you're really putting in that work. As always, if this video was helpful, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think about Waka Time, or if you use it at all already. As always, this is Trey Cole signing off. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope you enjoy this video. Until next time, I'll talk to you later. Peace.